Okay, the next one is we will see how we can connect to DataVerse. Before we jump in or dive in, how to connect to DataVerse, let us first understand what is DataVerse is all about. Okay, DataVerse is a cloud-based storage. Okay, you can store the data on cloud so that it can be collaborated with the stakeholders across your organization. Okay, it's a Microsoft cloud-based solution. In this case, look here, we have something called make.powerapps.com. You need to type the URL in the browser, and then you need to sign up in this website. Okay, once you sign up, you'll be able to sign in. Obviously, look here, once you sign in here, in my case, this is what my email ID, support.deepneuron.in. So here, if you take a look at here, you will find, one second, I think they changed the interface now, create. I just clicked on the create on the left side. One second, it got closed. Somehow it got closed. Okay, when you click on create, right next to the create, if you click on the plus icon, it will show something like DataVerse and SharePoint, everything. And if you click on the DataVerse, the other option is you can go to the search and you can search the DataVerse. Earlier it was showing on the left side itself, which one the DataVerse. I think they changed it now recently. Okay, look here, these are the see, in my case, I've already created the connection. In your case, if you want to create a new connection, click on the new connection. Here, Microsoft DataVerse, click on it and then create. I'm going to use the same username and password, allow access, Microsoft DataVerse. Okay, I've created a new connection. That's all. Okay, it's very simple one. All you need to do is click on the plus new icon, and then the username and password which you used it to sign in with the DataVerse. You need to you need to connect with that. That's all. Okay, one second. It takes time. Yeah, I just launched the Power BI desktop earlier. Now only it is opening. Let me do one thing. Yeah, I think because of which it is slowing down. Okay, let's go back to the thing. Okay, so see, I just show you one more time. You need to click on the plus icon, and then you select DataVerse and click on create. That's all. Once you click on create, it will ask the username and password which you used to sign in into the DataVerse site. Okay. That's it. Right. Once you are done with the connection thing, that's all. And look here, this is the one. If I click on the one that I created, the DataVerse connection which I created, when I click on it, I can see the table. These are the tables were created by someone else. These are the pre-existing tables. It is already there on the DataVerse system of DataVerse. Okay. And if I click on a specific table accounts here, and then if I click on connect, it will take some time to connect to the table, and then here it is loading the table. Okay, let's wait for some time, and I'm going to skip this one and accounts. Let me do it. And here, if you see your accounts table accounts and environment connection. Okay, and here add data. If you click on add data, you can add the data to it. Okay, let me just review. Search items. Okay, accounts table. In the accounts table, these are the search items are there, and the text search you can do it. So this is kind of an app. You can create an app here itself with the accounts table. We can say, okay, all we need is we want to see the data that is available in the accounts table and cancel. Let me do one thing. I'll just click on it one more time. Blank app. So, now, yeah, this is the one. We'll create an app. We don't want to create an app. Simply we want to go here and check what are the tables are there here. Okay, that's all. And if I select this one, so these are the tables that are available. And when I select this table, you have connect option. So it will connect to this table, and then you can create your app. Okay, but again, creating an app is outside of the scope of this training program. So what I will do is, here there are no apps created. Anyhow, we will show you a demo on Power Apps later point in Shri. Okay, don't worry. Okay, that is for how to schedule the incremental data refresh. Okay, so these are the tables that are already available. So what we will do is, in the previous version of the Power Apps, when you click on the table, it will show the content of the table. Okay, but here it is not showing here. Anyhow, they change the interface now. Now what I do is I just go to the Power BI desktop. All we want to do is we want to connect to this Power Apps. Okay, look here. How do I connect to Power Apps via Power BI desktop? You need to go to the Power Apps and then click on the settings here, and then session details. Sorry, you need to click on the session details, and then you need to select this one, instance URL. This is your server name. You don't have to select right from the beginning. HTTPS and all, you don't need it. You don't need that in a URL. Instead, you want the server name. You select the server name, go back to your Power BI desktop and click on the database. Say, look here, the database is available here also. And at the same time, if you click on the get data here also, you can find out the database. It is up to you. Okay, whichever uh, icon that you want to click on it to connect to the database, you can click on. Look here, I'm going to click on this database. Since I have already given the username and password and then the database server name, it's kind of a cookies, it got stored. Only when you connect to the database first time, it will ask the server name, everything. Let us wait for some. Let's see, let it get connect there. Look here, it got connected to my database, automatically. Because already I mentioned once you install your Power BI desktop, and then once you connect to the Power Apps, okay, like by selecting this server name, and if you click on the icon here, the database, it will ask you the server name and username and password. Username and password is nothing but your cloud username and password. If you specify, it will get stored permanently. Okay, it will not again ask you the server name and username password. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, now it got connected to the database. I'm going to click on this icon. Here it will show all the tables that are available, in this connection, right? All the tables. It will show all the things here, the tables here. Look here, account, action card, everything, whatever is there. It is whatever tables are there. You can see it here. So for our example, right, for our illustration purpose, I selected the account table. How did I select that? I just clicked on the checkbox. Now the load button got enabled. The preview is going on currently. Hope you all remember, once you load your CSV file, what will happen? The navigator window like this will get opened, wherein it will show you the sample of your CSV file. It is not showing the entire data. Only the subset of the data will be shown here in the preview window. Once you are fine or happy with the data, whatever the sample at which you are seeing it, then you can hit the load button. So it will simply show the data that are available in the account table. It has give a few seconds for him to load it. Okay, so now it got connected to my cloud, and the cloud database, and then the account table, it is trying to connect, and it is pulling the data from the database to my local Power BI desktop. Any of the preview takes, yeah, preview was over. Okay, look here, and if you use this bar, and if you slide towards the right side, you can see lot of columns are there, right? So account ID, only one row it is showing it. There has been truncated due to size limits. Okay. Account ID is a column, category code is a column, territory code is a column. Likewise, if we scroll till the end on the right side, you can see all the columns, and I'm going to hit load now. I want to load the account table data from my DataVerse into my Power BI desktop. So now this is the point you need to note it down. So now, see, we have just a while ago, we have seen the preview window. Next, it is asking us to select what connection setting that you want to use it to connect to database, import or direct query. The default one is import. If I hit the button, OK button, what will happen is it will load the entire account table data which are available currently in our database will get loaded locally into my Power BI desktop. In the case of import, it's kind of a downloading the data from your cloud and then loading it into your local laptop. It's kind of like that. That is what is happening. 10 rows loaded. Only 10 rows are there in that table, but the number of columns were more. That is the reason why it takes time. And again, it depends on your network bandwidth, and again, the availability of the data on the cloud also matters. See, the data is available, but multiple users might be using the same table. So I just switched over to data view. So earlier it was in the report canvas view. On the right side, just beneath the data pane, you can see the account table. Okay, and if you scroll down here, all the columns for that table, you can see it here itself, but with this itself, you can understand so many columns are there in this table. Now we will switch over to the data view to view the data in the account table. Look here, we have something called account number, account category code, and then industry code, something like that are available. Sorry, account call table. Let's wait for a few seconds because it has to populate the data here. Next one is I just go to the report canvas. So it takes more time. It seems, it will take some more time to load the data here. And I just go back to the report view. See, I was there in the data view. It was not showing anything here. So what I'm doing is, anyhow, I just want to go to the report view. And here I'm going to select the pie chart. I just selected the pie chart. In the pie chart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the account name. Sorry, the account name, and I'll drop it here. And here, what we do is number of employees. Number of employees, we just drag and drop this here. It is working fine. The entire account table data got loaded into my Power BI desktop locally, but here it is not showing it. I think it will take some more time to show here. So from this account table, I have selected only the two columns because let's assume that our reporting requirement is something like this. So what is account name is something you just think account name is kind of the department. right? Each account, how many number of employees are there? That is what it shows us. Next, what I do is I click on the database again. And I'm going to select the same account table. I'm going to hit the load. This time, I'm going to use the direct query mode. This is very important, okay? I'm going to hit OK. In this case, what will happen is it will load only the metadata, not the table data. What do you mean by metadata? Data about data. Only the table name and then the columns, it will get loaded here. In the case of direct query, it will not load the data locally. Why? Let's assume that the account table have millions and millions of records are there. If you try to use the import connectivity mode to load it locally, the entire data, it requires more storage and it requires more network bandwidth. It requires more network bandwidth, right? And also, right, it will slow down the performance. Okay, and so in that kind of situation, let the data be wherever it is there. So currently it is available in my database, the data for the account table, let it be there. It does not disturb him. Okay, instead, whenever we drag and drop any column into Visual, that time it has to go and pull the data from your direct query and show it here. I'm going to hit OK now. So this visual got populated with the imported data of my account table. Account 2 is the one that I used it with direct connection mode. Okay, this is the one already loaded. Anyhow, it is refreshing it again. Let it be there. Wait for some time, don't do anything. Go to data view, it got loaded, right? So, but here, yeah, account 2. Look here, now the account table, now only it is showing it here, isn't it? Previously, it was not showing it. Now only it because it has to go and pull the data from your cloud into a Power BI desktop. It took time. This is import mode account, whereas account 2, I have used the direct connectivity mode. Hence, it doesn't show any data here. This table uses direct query and cannot be shown. Okay. In the case of direct query, you cannot see the data here because the data was not downloaded locally here. Still, the data for the account table, account 2, right? The table data is still available on cloud. See, it is something like that. I'll give you, it's an important concept, you understand. This is the one, they use it in Hadoop and everywhere. Okay. Hadoop is also a very odd skill set. 1 second. So I'll just show you here. This is your database. This is your Power BI desktop. Let's say I have two visual. This is kind of a pie chart. Okay. I just say it's a pie chart. Okay. It is a pie chart. It's a pie chart. Okay. So this one, I'm going to use, I have used the import mode. And for this, I have used the direct query mode. In this case, the import, what happens is, here you have the account table on cloud, it is available. In the case of import, it loads the data locally here. Import the data. Import the data from cloud into your Power BI desktop. In the case of import. Whereas in the case of direct query mode, no data. It was not importing any data locally. No data, okay? Instead, it will import only the metadata. Only the metadata. Simple analysis, guys, you have your Swiggy app. I believe all of you are familiar with Swiggy app, right? So here you want to order some food. Okay, you selected two different food items. It is a menu, right? Without menu, how can you select the products and how can you make the payment? Okay, but does Swiggy prepare the food ordered by the customers? So this is your customer. You just think that this is your customer. Powerby is your client. It's a client. Is your client, and Swiggy is kind of an app. Okay, it shows all the food items. Right. In that case, the customers, they come and order it. Right. They select what are the product they wanted, and once they select it, once they order it, Swiggy will send the order details to the hotel. At the end of the day, the hotel has to prepare the food, and then once the food is ready, Swiggy employees will deliver it to its client. Okay, import is something similar to your Swiggy menu. Sorry, the direct query. Direct query is somewhat similar to your Swiggy menu. Which one? The direct query, right? This is related to your Swiggy analogy. So here, for your visual, what are the columns are required? Number of employees and account name. These two columns. These two columns, you are just, a query will get generated in the case of Power BI for this visual, okay? And that query will be sent to your kitchen, like how Swiggy send the order raised by the user to the hotel. This query, it will generate a query. That query will be sent to the DataVerse. Then the query will get executed, and then output of the query only will be sent back to your visual. So the data lies here only. Only the query will get executed, and then the output. Or a query will be sent. Okay, hey, send me, this data, and then upon receiving the request, it will send the data to your visual automatically. In the case of direct query mode. In the case of import mode, the entire table data get loaded here. Okay, this is your direct query. Look at this is your direct query, and this is your import. Which one is better? It depends on the scenario. For example, if the account table have millions and millions of record, huge volume of data. If you have huge volume of data, better you can use direct query mode. Don't use import. Why? Let's assume that you have, 5 billion records are there. By 5 billion rows are there. If you import the 5 billion records to your Power BI desktop, what will happen? It will literally slow down the performance. Not only the performance, to download the data itself takes weeks and weeks of time, isn't it? Even to load 1,000 records or 25,000 records into your Power BI itself takes it takes time, right? You just imagine if you have 5 billion records, if you use import connect to connect and import the data 5 billion records, it takes a lot of time. So instead, in the case of direct query mode, don't download the data locally. Let the data be wherever it is. We will execute a query here. We'll send a request here. Hey, I don't need all the data, man. You just send me only the subset of the data. For example, I just wanted to view only the North region sales performance. So in that case, perform the aggregation, send everything back here. That's all, or only North region data alone. So the direct query will not import the data. Only your queries, the queries output only will be sent back to your Power BI desktop. Is it clear? Is it clear? Something like direct query, something like your Swiggy app menu. Okay, your menu. You are ordering the food, and Swiggy is not preparing they don't have a big kitchen because every day millions of customers are ordering it food. The same principle is applicable with direct query. If the volume of the data is very huge, then you can use direct query. The volume of the data is reasonably less or moderate, then you can use import. Okay. So the interview they'll ask you, when will you go for direct query? When will you use import? If the volume of the data is very huge, then you can go for direct query. Don't do the mistake of importing the huge volume of data into your desktop or BI desktop. The volume of the data is less, then you can go for import. How less is less, how large is? See, if it is in anything is in millions, that itself, huge volume of the data. That kind of situation, better you can go ahead with direct query. So when you use the direct query, what it gives you the, it loads only the metadata. What is the metadata? The table name, column name only will be there. And then the relationship. Okay, we go and check the same thing in the model view. We go to the model view. You can easily make out which account table we used import connection mode and direct connection mode. When you see the blue line on top of a table, you can easily make out, in this case, we have used the direct query mode, direct connection or direct query mode. If you don't see any blue color line, it is import mode. And apart from this, if you hover the cursor somewhere here, you can see that what is the mode that we use, storage mode, import, account table, what date, what time we have refreshed the data. And here, if you keep the cursor or hover the cursor here, you can see that the storage mode was direct query, which is nothing but the connection, okay? And the data source type Dynamics 365 database and server name. It shows the server name also. Got it? Fine. Now you understood what is direct query mode and what is import mode at an high level. If the volume of the data is very huge, better you can go for direct query, because to load the data, import the data will take longer time. It may take a week time, 1 week time, or 4 days time, and 5 days time. Instead, you send a request to DataVerse cloud and send only the specific data from your account table. That is a smart way of doing it. So that is when the direct query is, is preferable. It is pretty fast. Okay, so now you understood how to connect to database in both import as well as the direct query mode. 1 second, I'm getting. So with this, you are able to understand what is database and how do we extract the data or load the data using import as well as the direct query mode.